Hello.
Heathens.
Hello,
Um,
heathens.
for those of you that are listening and not watching, you might hear another voice that is neither mine nor Nicole's. It sounds a bit deeper, weird, right?
It's an embodied voice.
It's really weird. But kind of not. We are actually sitting here today with our friends Lucinda and Rocky. Who are, I think we've talked about them. They are our Senpais to life.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've been here many of hours last year,
Yes.
cultivating our craft.
Wow, that's a
if
good
you
way to
will.
say that. Yeah, I like that. Wow.
Mm.
Guys, I honestly miss sitting next to Nicole to record this because now that we do Zoom, we just do it from our own houses and
I was like, this is weird.
this is weird, but I like it.
You're so close.
Like it close. Okay, yeah. So quick few things I really wanted to say before we started this podcast today is one, I have made the executive decision that we are going to start a drinking game, and it's going to be called How Many Times in One Episode Does Cassie Say Absolutely, Exactly, or 100%? Good luck, you guys. Good fucking luck.
Okay.
I don't think my liver is going to be able to do that.
If you have a liver that can do that, you probably need to seek medical help seriously.
Immediately.
I think the only other thing is we really quick wanted to just say thank you to everybody for the feedback we've been getting this week, especially. We've gotten some really awesome feedback from people that are not in our close community who already listen to us talk like this anyways. It's people that are outside of it that are finding new paths because of the podcast, and we have been really moved this week, even to tears.
Oh yeah, the validation that I strive to achieve is been amazing. So we know we're on the right path. We know that what we're doing is serving the purpose that we really of the highest good. And
Very
thank
good.
you.
Mhm.
Very, very good.
Okay, so on to the actual business, the what's whatever I'm trying to say there. I would love to introduce you guys to Rocky and Lucinda. So if you guys would like to introduce yourself for everybody, that would be pretty cool.
Okay, I'm Lucinda, and I guess I'm going to tell you what I like to do or what I do. Is that what you want? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I work with herbs mostly, and since we've moved out into the rural area, I am working on rewilding parts of the property that we have now, and I'm looking for right now. I am learning and looking for herbs that grow wild and to be used for whatever spells or healing or any of those things. So that is my quest right now. So in the fall, I reseeded a bunch of areas, like with Queen Anne's lace and golden seal and a few other things, mugwort,
Mugwort and
milkweed for the
Yes.
butterfly, and so anyway, I'm real excited about this. Is something I'm putting in little pathways
yeah.
and things like that. So that's what I'm doing right now. That's my thing right now.
We're really excited for that too, because we're out here a lot, you guys, for
Oh,
yeah.
rituals and different kinds of
Mhm.
festival type
yeah.
things. And so we're excited to see what that looks like.
Now, Lucinda, is it just the stuff that's native to Michigan, or is it just wild?
Oh, good question.
Well, I would like to keep it native to Michigan, but you're going to have some invasive things that are going to come in, and they're already there.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
All becomes native, I guess, to Michigan once it starts growing and
Yeah,
it gets
that's
there.
true.
It's just like plantain, for instance. It's a European plant, and people collected and brought it here when they were coming over.
Right. Yeah.
And because it's so good medicinally, so and it grows wild. If you saw,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not familiar with what it looks like, you've seen it a million times and you thought it was a weed, but it's not. It's really a very highly prized back then herb, and still is. I use it. I make ointments out of it and salves and things like that.
The Native Americans called it white man's foot because wherever the Europeans would go, they grew it. And so it just spread all over the country.
It's called
So-
they're plants that are called people plants, and
Yeah.
that's one of them. If there's people around, that plant is going to be around. It's like mullein too. It's
Right.
another people plant. If you're there and it's going to be there. It's just
Yeah.
it just follows people around.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're both really nature centered, especially me. I mean, well, her too. But we really have a cause of promoting good practices, reminding people that this is the only planet we got to live on right now, and we need to take care of it. And so what we try to do here with the different ceremonies, like the vision lodges and things like that, are to help people reconnect with the planet, and reconnect with the spirit of the planet, with Mama Gaia, Mother Nature, so that we can be whole people again. I think a lot of people have forgotten, how to live on the land and how to take care of the land. So
Yeah.
that's one of our purposes, is to help reconnect people with the spirit of place. And we have a lot of spirits back there.
Yeah, we do.
Mhm.
You guys know
yeah, you do.
yourself. Yeah, you guys know yourself with the ancient ones, and we've had deities show up back there.
Yes.
And we're starting to work with them now. There's one in particular. She's known in Europe as Ellen of the Ways. She has other names here in America. But she's made herself known to Lucinda. She's made herself known to me and to a few other people. You guys, I think, have seen her too back there. So yeah, that's our whole thing, is we're trying to reconnect people with the planet.
And I didn't know anything about her.
No.
And so now Rocky has, of course, a book on Ellen,
No.
whatever you got, whatever happens,
Yeah.
he's got a book on it. So he says, here, read. So I'm almost done with the first one. And then there's another one after that kind of go.
Yeah, Ellen like appeared to me back about maybe 15 years ago in a waking vision that happened inside of a bar, of all places.
Oh,
I was
wow.
sitting there having a beer with friends, and all of a sudden I got that feeling of what vision, when vision falls on you, there's a certain feeling that goes with it. And I had to get up and walk outside and have this come over me. And that's when she first appeared to me. And so she's been around, but now she's made herself known to both of us. And there's lots of deer in the back. They seem to be increasing. So
you don't see, I've never seen one, but you see
the tracks all the time. Yeah,
Nice.
tons of tracks back there.
It's so interesting that you guys haven't seen any. You
No,
guys are
but
back there
they're
often.
there. Yeah.
They're back there. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we've seen coyotes and hawks and
Yeah.
an eagle. Did we see an eagle?
There was an eagle that came by. Yeah.
Yeah,
Lots of owls.
the
Yeah.
night that we stayed out, so we got invited to a camp out in the back, and Nicole has this really luxurious, I mean, it's freaking huge tent. And dude, she's dead asleep. I mean, she doesn't really snore, but she makes like this little noise when she sleeps. And so she was sleeping, and I woke up to the weirdest, craziest sounds that I was like, what the hell is that? Where I was like sinking into my the bed, like trying to hide into the bed. And then I had to wake her up. I was like, hey. And like quietly though, I'm like, hey. And I was like, do you hear that? She was like, what is that? And so then we woke up the next morning, and Rocky was like, oh, I heard it too. And then we come to find out it's a freaking coyote, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, but it sounded terrifying.
We have fox out there too.
We have
and they
foxes, too.
shriek.
Fox
They
out
have
there.
a horrible.
Oh man,
They
scary.
shriek.
Yeah, they
Um,
shriek. Yeah.
So Rocky, would you like to formally introduce yourself now?
Okay. My name is Rocky Shadowbear Reigns. Shadowbear is the name that I was given way back when I was a youngster, during a vision quest. I've seen spirits my whole life. I am European and Native American. I'm blooded on my dad's side. Like I said, I've seen spirits my whole life, and it's a good thing that I was born into a family where everybody else saw spirits their whole life too. So they never thought I was nuts, and they didn't commit me or anything like that. So I got real lucky in that respect. I started studying at an early age because I needed to figure out what was going on. And I was sent to Catholic schools during the week, and on weekends I was taken to Pentecostal churches. So yeah, quite a strange contradiction and different things there, but it led me to start really studying spirituality. There was a lot of stuff that the church would not tell me, the different things that were happening to me. They just said pray a lot and it'll go away, and I didn't want that. So I started looking into other areas. The first thing that I looked into was ceremonial magic. I studied Golden Dawn magic. I was lucky enough to find a temple that was on Groseal. The gentleman that led that temple has since passed away. And the temple itself, I believe, moved to Livonia, if I'm not mistaken. And then I went in the total different direction. I started looking into Native American spiritual beliefs. I started looking at that side of my bloodline. And I had a vision quest. Nothing really happened until I got back here to Michigan. Then I had a major vision, which became my guiding vision for the rest of my life. Also during that time, when I told my vision to the Native American medicine person that was my sponsor and my mentor at that time, he told me that I definitely had to look into the other half of my bloodline and into their spiritual practices, which was the Celtic side. So I started looking into that, got into the Holy Grail, got into the Robin Hood legends and what's really behind them. Found out that I have a spirit teacher that is from the traditional witchcraft, European witchcraft tradition, that taught me a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't even know where it was coming from until later on, and found out that it was traditional British witchcraft that was being passed on to me in the legends and stuff like that. So I teach classes. I'm an artist. I don't know. This is me. This is what I love to do. This is, I get excited doing this stuff. I get really excited. You ladies know that I get really all just nuts sometimes. So I'm gonna try and contain myself for this interview. So
good luck.
Okay.
Yeah, seriously.
Rocky,
Yeah.
do you have any classes coming up that people can
Yeah,
join?
I do. The first one that I know you two are going to is Defense Against the Malefic Arts, the Malefic Arts. It's the Hauntings class. And I produced a deck of oracle cards that we're going to be getting into in that class, which is it's to determine the nature and the different types of entities that might be causing a haunting. That's the one class coming up in March. And then in May, I have the Secrets of the Holy Grail that will be taught at Even Stars Institute in Ann Arbor. And then in September, I have the Male Mysteries, the Merlin teachings that will be done. I'm not sure, probably through Even Stars too there. And then of course we have the Vision Lodges in the back. We have the Wheel of the Year ceremonies that we do in the back, like we're doing Summer Solstice, and we're also doing Samhain this year, and possibly some smaller gatherings.
Did you guys hear that? It's Samhain.
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 For those of you that remember a couple episodes when we were saying Samhain or Samhain, it's something, it's Samhain.
Samhain.
It's Samhain. Yeah.
We like to make up our own
So-
words.
Yeah, we do.
I'm excited about our summer solstice this year because I want to do a camp out.
Yeah, another
back
camp
there.
out.
So we'll have ceremony and then we'll camp and we'll have the fire and
Yeah.
it's just going to be a nice evening.
Be very magical.
Yeah, I think so. I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Rocky, if somebody was interested in coming and spending summer solstice with you, like camping out, where would they find the information for that?
Right now we're on Facebook only,
Mhm.
and that's Shadowbear and Airow, Unique Gifts, Curious Goods, Magical Treasures. You can look us up on Facebook, and just contact us through that page,
Mhm.
and just message us and tell us that you're interested in attending either summer solstice or Samhain,
Yeah.
and then we'll hook you up with directions and everything out to the house.
And we do have limited space for that, but
Right.
it should
Yeah,
be
there is
still
limited
gonna be
space,
fun.
and you guys already got your space out in the back by the creek, so.
Yeah.
Because that's where the ancients ones are, and that's as close as we can get.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, if you
So, yeah.
guys, Lucinda will also ask you about your classes in just a second, but I want to really quickly clarify again. If you guys look up Shadowbear and Airow, at least start with that. It should pop up on Facebook. They also post their classes on there that you can join from that as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
And if you guys are having a hard time, you can always reach out to myself and Nicole, and we can help you find it too, because we obviously go to them a lot.
Mhm.
So, Lucinda, do you have any classes coming up?
I don't have any at this time, but I am thinking about doing, I'm just going to do nature walks. I have three
Ooh.
Yeah.
planned. I have one in the spring. I think I'll do it one in the spring, one in the summer, and one in the fall.
Right.
Because each season there's something that, comes to fruition and you can use it in any number of ways. So that will be what I want to do with that. So,
Wow.
and
That's cool. We'll have to do
That's
that.
so
I'm working on my blue moth botanicals, so that's another things that I'm working on too. So I'm not going to so much teach classes. I don't know how well. I like doing the nature walk idea. I think that's great. Other than that, I don't know. I'm not, I like doing the other stuff. I
No.
like walking and showing and talking about stuff and
I end up trying to push her into it, and she's like,
well, I don't mind it. It's okay. It's all right. There's just.
well, she has such a wealth of knowledge. She knows how to do salves, ointments. I mean, she's really into the medicinal side, and I think that's almost like a lost art, a lost talent. And well, she'll get to the point where she wants to share it. So
I'll do what
Well,
I
maybe
do.
she doesn't need to do classes. She needs an apprentice.
Maybe so.
that-
Yeah,
that
there you
could
go.
be. Yeah.
Yes.
For our Zodiac listeners, can you guys give us your Zodiac signs? Because we always find
Oh,
that
well,
very
I
interesting.
I am Sagittarius. Oh, I don't know. Do you want the moons and all that?
Yeah,
Or-
sure. Moon
I'm not
rising.
sure. Moon rising is Virgo. And then I think the other one is Scorpio.
Yeah.
Mm.
I am
Earth.
an Aries sun and Aquarius moon, and I'm Scorpio rising.
Oh.
Oh,
That makes
we have
that makes a lot of sense.
that.
Yeah, just because I know like we have a lot of people that are really into zodiacs and are waiting for when we come out with episodes on the zodiac and the
Oh,
planets. I've been
yeah.
told all week by almost every client, when are you doing the planets? When are you doing zodiac signs? And I was like, this year is more about self-growth and awareness, you guys.
Right.
So we'll
Yeah.
see. Okay, so I think that we can move into our next subsection, I guess you could say, of this.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you guys drop something?
We
Yes.
did. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I don't even think we really heard it. So, okay. So we had you guys listen to the last episode And
Right.
we had talked about religion versus spirituality, what that looks like for us, what it means for us. And we started first with the definition of religion versus spirituality. And I
Yeah.
know that you guys both have had some experiences with the transition from one to the other, and then kind of back into the mix of many, is what I guess you could say. And
Right.
I'd just like to hear more about like what religion or spirituality means to you guys.
Do you want to start?
Oh, no, why don't you
You want
start?
me to start? Okay. Like I said, I was brought up in the Christian church. I was brought up going, like I said, Catholic schools during the week and Pentecostal services on the weekends. I found everything was by the book. I found religion to be very controlling. Do's and don'ts, do this, don't do that, don't question. I usually sum up religion with a quote from the book, which is obedience is better than sacrifice. And for me, that speaks volumes. It's like, do what I say, you know, and then everything will be fine. The church has a long history of people that did not agree with them, the Gnostics, you name it, and any group of people that did not agree with them or stepped outside of them. If they couldn't convert them and bring them back in line, they killed them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, basically for me, the church these days has forgotten who their master is. Basically, they don't know who Yeshua ben Yahweh is. They've forgotten their heart, and it goes with my vision is that the people crumble and fall apart because they have no heart. Where there is no vision, the people perish. So for me, the organized Christian church, any religion, especially the Abrahamic religions, have lost touch with the heart of who really called them in the first place. Yeshua, or Jesus, as most people know him by, had a great saying. He said, there would be many coming in those days saying, Master, Master, did we not heal the sick in your name? Did we not cast out demons in your name? And he said, I will turn to them and say, depart from me, I never knew you. So there's going to be a lot of people that are going to get an awfully rude awakening when they cross that boundary and stand there in front of him, and he's not even going to know them. So for me, like I said, religion is controlling. It's do what I say. Spirituality, on the other hand, for me, is what I find in nature. I find spirits are there. They want to make contact with us. I know when we came here, they were like, I can't believe that these are human beings
starving
that were starving for the connection with a
Yeah,
human being,
they
because
were.
we're the ones in the middle world that can get things done. And so they know that the work has to proceed through us. And when they found out that I'm back there going, hey, we want a working relationship with you. What do you want us to do? What messages do you want us to get out in your behalf? I know they were like, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
You know, it was so, and they really responded. We got feathers, we got all kinds of gifts that were just dropped down onto us. And then just sitting back there, just keeping your ears opened, you could hear the wind in the trees, and all of a sudden it's voices speaking to you. You know, so it's really powerful. That's spirituality. That's going out there and knowing that, you know, as long as you're open to it, that you're not commanding something or demanding something. You know, if you're looking for a relationship, and it's just like any other relationship, if you're in a good relationship with somebody, that means you're open to them, you're listening to them, you value them for who they are.
And you're
And that-
spending time with them.
Yes, exactly. So for me, that's spirituality. That's going out and finding out what's out there. Now, I got to admit that I learned a lot from religion. There were a lot of good things that I did learn. I learned boundaries. I learned how to establish myself and move forward. It helped hone me in. I happened to work under a really good pastor who helped develop me as a seer and as a prophet. So, I mean, I have to thank him for that. And that came out of the Christian church, but those are very few and far in between. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
You didn't have
same-
that experience. Yeah.
Religion was not important in my house.
Right.
So, I mean, I had very little. What was required of me was I was raised Lutheran.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to the Catholic religion where they have confirmation and all that stuff. So I had to be confirmed. That was the thing. And then I could do whatever I wanted after that. And I walked away, no problem. I had to learn these lines for the confirmation, did that, and went to every class that I had to go
Yeah.
to. And as soon as I could, because no one in my family went, you
Yeah.
know, it was not,
Mhm.
it didn't matter. And I'm kind of a wild child. I always was. So I was roaming around out in
Out in the woods.
the
Yeah.
woods out here. I did grow up out here, and I was playing with frogs and, you know, just out. I
Yeah.
would walk out. I would go out in the middle of the night. Everybody's asleep, and I would go out and wander around.
Well, that's because you're a witch. She's a natural witch.
She's a
totally.
heathen as well.
Oh yeah,
Heathen.
absolutely.
That
We're all
was what I
heathens
did.
here.
So I
Yes.
think it was just a natural progression for me
Yeah.
to go into this. So
Well,
yeah.
that's the same thing for me. I remember when I was 13 years old, we had moved out to Wixom, Michigan. And I literally spent the entire summer in the woods that surrounded us out there. I built a fort and everything else. I basically lived like Tarzan and was just, you know, running naked through the woods every chance that I got. And I would come back home to steal
Wow.
food out of the refrigerator and then go back out into the woods. So, you know, and it was excellent. I mean, I loved it. And I've always loved, I mean, I grew up in Detroit, okay, Southwest Detroit.
Mm.
So for me, it was always trying to get out of the city. I loved it when we would go visit my aunt in Livonia. They lived on a big farm-like place with all kinds of woods surrounding it. Whenever we went down south to go visit, you know, my dad's folks or my mom's folks, Kentucky, Alabama, we were always in the woods. We were running wild. We were definitely heathens, you know, absolutely.
Yeah.
Running crazy through the woods. So, yeah. Yeah.
So when do you think was the first time that either one of you like knew that you were going to go into spirituality? Like what was the like the aha moment or the event that like pushed you towards it?
There was one, but I'm trying to think of what it was that there was just I can't remember what it was, but I remember going through the ceremony. I remember, and this was really strange. It was I had to do this ceremony and it was all as a solitaire. And I did it in my backyard. I lived in Wyandotte at the time, and it was pouring rain. And I had my knife, you know, my knife, and I was
Your little ear,
swinging
the
around,
way you're
yeah.
holding it.
I was swinging it around back there, and the dog was out with me. And I did the knife, and then I stabbed it stabbed it into the ground, and the dog goes, "Ow!" He
started
howled as
howling.
soon as I did that. And I went, "Yeah, I put something right here." But when there was a moment, and I just can't think of what it was, that I think I always was in that
Yeah.
that vein, but where it was like, "Hey, wake up, this is what you have to do." I know it was in probably early 90s,
Mhm.
I remember
Yeah.
getting into crystals and wearing them to work, and everybody was looking at me like I was crazy, but that's okay. I don't care about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so
So
went for you.
the first time I got kicked out of a church.
Oh,
Yeah. Literally for asking too many questions.
Tell me that's not heathenistic right there. You got kicked out of a
Well,
good question.
Yeah, questioning why
how did
can't,
they do
what
that?
is
Did they
this
just
going
go,
on?
yeah, what they do is
Get
they
outta
get
here.
out. Did they actually pick you up and haul you out, bump you on your
No,
butt?
they took me off by myself. The youth pastor
Oh boy.
took me off by myself and said, "We think maybe you need to find another place to go. We don't have the answers that you're looking for here."
Wow.
And I left. I did leave. I said, "Okay,
Wow.
fine.
Okay.
I will go find my answers someplace else." It was like I'm asking because I'm having specific problems with spirits.
Yeah.
And they're all, you got to pray, you need an exorcism, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I don't think that's the whole question. And it was basically, well, Jesus and everybody else did all of this stuff. Why aren't we doing the same thing? And they said, well, that was the old dispensation. And I said, I'm sorry, Jesus or the Spirit or God or whatever it is out there, it's still the same. There's no difference between then and now, and we should be doing the same things that happened back then. And I said, and this is probably what got me kicked out. I said, saying that it's the old disposition is a cop out. I say that because you are not in the flow of spirit, and you
They're
can't answer it.
They're like looking at each other like, we gotta get this
This one,
guy
yeah,
out of here. This
he's
guy's
gotta
gotta
go.
go.
He's
He's
And so
gotta go.
at the end of
He's
the,
not conforming.
yeah,
He's
at the
not-
end of the
yeah.
night, it was basically, I don't think you should come back. We don't have the answers that you're looking for here. And that was the first time.
And you should have said thank you.
Well, I
Right.
basically
Yeah,
did.
oh,
I said,
really?
okay, yeah, all right, I will go find answers somewhere else because you obviously don't have the
Yeah.
answers.
Yeah, I guess that was a good way of telling you get the fuck out. Like,
Yeah, right.
It did it in a nice way.
They did,
you
yeah.
know,
Oh, that's
did it in a
good.
nice way instead of putting thumb screws on or
But they
burning
were
me at the
right.
stake.
They were right though. You didn't
You
they
know?
didn't have the answers that
Tar
you
and
need.
feather.
So they were right to, send you on your merry way.
Right.
every time I hear burning at the stake, I always think of Monty Python's Holy Grail. Well, how
Yes.
much does a goose weigh?
Yes, exactly. That's right.
Rocky, I remember talking to you a couple weeks ago, or I can't remember when I was over here last, but you said you wanted to talk about the Gnostics.
Okay.
Could you explain what that is first before you go into more detail on it for us?
Sure. Gnosis is a Greek word that means knowledge. And there were a group of Christians back in the day, even right after Jesus's death, that believed that there didn't need to be a hierarchy, that you could basically go and make contact with the divine spirit on your own, that there were certain things you could do, fasting and different types of things, and then you could make contact with this divine spirit. And the Christians at that time were very upset with them. There is even in one of John's epistles, he tells, don't listen to these people. Although John's gospel is probably the most Gnostic of all the gospels that are out there, because he talks a lot about vision and things like that. So this group of people, they believed in direct knowledge, direct divine knowledge. And the Grail legends are all tied up with that. There were two groups, the Nassenes and the Cathars. And during the time when the Cathars were in prominence in southern France, that's when all the Grail stories started. Is when the Cathars had come to the forefront. The Catholic Church was so threatened by this group that they launched a crusade against them. And they literally wiped them out. There were hardly any of them left. And as soon as this group was wiped out, all the Grail stories stopped at that point.
Wow.
So, and I believe in that myself. I believe that you yourself can get in touch with the divine spirit that is out there. And the reason that I stepped away from Christianity is because I believe that there is not just a father God, but there is a mother goddess as well. And I believe that they are married, and it's not Yahweh. Yahweh, I read a really good article. It was called Yahweh's Divorce, where when the Israelites were going through the desert, they basically took over Canaan, the Canaanites. And in order for them to fully integrate, the Israelites' God had to marry the Canaanite goddess. And so he did. And once that happened, then gradually, as the Canaanites were kind of like absorbed, Yahweh basically came to the forefront, and the goddess was like done away with. So she was, he basically divorced her and put her away. It was a marriage of basically where it was done just so he could take control of these people. And Yahweh, that we have to understand too, is a thunder god and primarily a war god. And I've said this more than once. It's like that God has made war on all the other gods and goddesses. And through the Abrahamic religions, it's like, if you don't convert, you die. That's in mostly all of them. That if all you have to do is look back at the Inquisition and look back at when all of these wars were going on in the Middle East. So the Gnostics had a good idea, and because they had a good idea, they basically got wiped off the face of the earth because they were a threat to power.
Yeah.
So there's my take on the Gnostics.
Isn't there a counter word for Gnostics in another group? There's like, is it agnostic or something like that?
Agnostic. An agnostic person is a person that they're not sure if they're on the fence of whether or not they believe there is a deity or not. They're not, what is the word? They're not where they don't believe in any atheists, right? They're not atheists, they're agnostic. So they don't know. They're on the fence of whether they believe or not.
That's fair.
So, and there are agnostic people. So
I hope you guys heard Cindy in the background giving a little, okay, that's fair. She kills me.
yeah.
No, I think there's a thread of consciousness that are starting to come in where Christianity or the Bible even is looked at in a different way, where it's not looked at as so literal. It's looked at as what it was supposed to be, as a metaphoric kind of thing. Like, we're not going to have Jesus coming down out of the clouds and pick us all out and then leave the rest of it, right? Like, there's a lot of different theories out there, and it's really cool to actually go down the rabbit hole and explore all of the threads that are coming through right now.
Yeah, and I think a really good thing that led us to those threads too, at least for me, was the Know Thyself podcast. They their second season has been mostly about the Bible and them breaking down the first 7 days of creation and what it means, not in the literal sense, but what it means for your body, your chakra, you as a human. It is an extremely interesting podcast to listen to because it gets you to start thinking about the Bible in a completely different way.
Well, you have different magical working groups that are Christian based.
Mhm.
Gareth Knight belonged to Keepers of the Light. I think that's, yeah, the Keepers of the Light, where it was Dion Fortune's group originally, and they are a Christian-based group, but that work magic. And then they look at things in a totally different way, and they do believe in a goddess. That goddess is basically within the planet. And yeah, there's some good stuff in the book. There's decent stuff in there, but you have to know how to read it, how to pull it out of there. And a lot of people end up throwing the baby away with the bathwater. You know, they say it's all bad, but there are little gems and nuggets in there, just like there are in any religion. I don't think all religion is bad. I think it's a blend of both. There's good and bad in everything. And it's the way that you look at it. And within spirituality too, you have, and the Gnostics, going back to them again, there were certain groups of Cathars believe that they had the only true way. And yet other groups of Gnostics says, no, you don't, we do. So you have the same fight that's still going on. What we have to understand is that spirit presents itself to people in the best way that those people can understand it.
Yeah.
So it has to use what's inside them to make inroads into them. So like when spirit shows itself to me, it might be a little different than how it shows itself to Cindy or to you, Nicole, and to you, Cassie. It may be a little different. So each of us receive it in the best way that we can.
That's a
Here,
really
here.
great way to look at it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main thing, is that spirit makes itself available to everyone. It meets everyone at the point where they are most able to realize it and to see it. And some people, need it. It's like, no, I need something right in my face right now. To make sure that I know that this is real. There are other people that don't know, I can't handle that. Just make it gentle. It's that still small voice that comes in and guides and leads gently. And then other people, need more than that. I need a full-blown visitation. Here's an angel popping up, boom, So, and then some people don't need that. Yeah.
I'm like that too, though. I'm like, I need hard, steadfast evidence.
Oh yeah.
Right now.
I'm the same way.
It goes back to we believe everything and nothing all at the same time.
Yep.
Right. Well, see, and I am a hard and fast. I want the experience. I want that visitation. I want that angel showing up and saying, "Be not afraid." I have a message for you. I want that earth spirit to come to me, that ancient one, to show himself to me or herself to me and say, yeah, we're here. It's nice what you're doing. Now don't bug us. Go off over there and go clean out the creek. That's what we want you to do. So
they do too.
And they do. They do that.
You got to clean this out.
Yeah. And so but I want that experience. And I've had that experience and it's never bothered me. That I consider myself a walker between worlds. That's what I consider myself as. And I know there's more than one world. I've seen it. I've visited it. So that's the type of experience that I'm looking for.
Well, and I think it's important to talk about, like, all of us have our own unique roles and what we're doing, and how spirit comes to us is so different. And we really need to embrace that difference between us all, because what it ends up doing is make a full picture. You're a puzzle piece to a full picture.
Yes.
And that's how we come together. And we really, this is the reason why we did this, is just trying to get that empowerment into people. Yes, you see it different. Yes, that's okay. Come with us.
Right.
Like, that's really what we want to do, is make people think for themselves and really get in that empowerment. And whether it's religion or whether it's spirituality, whether it's Hebrew or whether it's Christianity, it doesn't necessarily matter. These are tools that get you
Right.
closer to it.
That diversity empowers. It doesn't take it away. It makes you stronger because you, like you say, everyone has a specific talent and belief, and that can be useful when needed. I mean, we don't know what we're going to come up against, so
Right.
everyone has
Yeah.
something to offer.
Yes.
You know?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
It's like a full orchestra. You can't have just the trumpet.
That's
I mean,
That's
you
it.
can, and it's beautiful by itself, but when you have a full orchestra of the
Oh,
Oh
sound,
yeah.
it's
There's
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no comparison. And I think we as human beings, we're learning to live like that again,
Mhm.
of to be accepting of all different types of people and different views and everything else.
That is a struggle right now.
Well, it
That's what
is.
the
And
struggle is right now.
yeah, don't get me started,
Yeah, we
please.
don't want to get
You don't want to get me started on that. No.
So, well, the struggle's
Seriously,
okay
that
because
is the struggle.
the struggle's okay because it's like a tantrum. Like if you think about a toddler
Exactly.
having a tantrum,
Mhm.
like that's okay because they're not getting their way because that's how they used to be, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're still stuck in this where I want it this way kind of
Exactly.
attitude,
Yes.
Yeah.
only because it's fear of either not knowing. You got to realize that these people really believe what they believe, and they believe that they're doing the
Yes.
right thing,
Yes.
right?
Right. Oh
Yeah.
no, I get that.
I
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
believe it. Yeah. And
And
it's
it's hard for them to like move past that. But if the tantrum is necessary because I feel like it wears them out energetically, and then when you wear them out, they can accept a little bit more of something else. Growth can happen.
Mhm.
well,
No,
we hope
that's excellent.
that's we
Well,
can go ahead.
Sometimes it goes back to like remembering that it's not about you. Like we talked about in
Yes.
our last episode, it all just comes down to universal love. Like they're just trying to do what they think's best for you. So if you allow them to do it, you hear it out and then you can maybe question it and you can kind of feel it out from there. Same as like letting the temper tantrum be over and letting them wear themselves out. It's kind of the same thing, but
Mhm.
it goes back to that rule of take nothing personally, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not about you in that moment. And at that point, maybe you are just the conduit for spirit to give somebody else a nugget of information for them to think
Exactly.
about.
Or
Yeah.
just being heard. There's
Mhm.
so much magic and medicine in just being heard, whether you agree
Right.
with
Oh,
it or
for
not,
sure.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
never mind, it's gone. It left. It left as soon
I
as
hate when that happens.
It went right through it.
Yeah.
Right. It was like, see me now, I'm gone.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were done a couple other things that you had mentioned that we want to maybe quickly-ish talk about. Fasting.
Oh yeah. So when you were talking about fasting, I had heard something about the reason why people fast is if you weaken the body, you're closer to spirit. So that's why
Yeah.
people would fast so
Yeah.
they could be connected with spirit better.
Right. And that's true. What it does is it breaks the body. It breaks the body down and it weakens the body's grip on the spirit inside of it. It makes a person less dense. When I did my first vision quest, I fasted for 4 days, and
Wow.
drank water. But I know people that routinely every year do a 40-day fast
Oh no.
and drink
There-
and do nothing and drink just fruit juices.
there's a religion that does it too.
Yes.
Where they also fast and they can only eat at night if they need to.
That's
Um,
isn't that Islamic?
yeah, they have
think so.
Ramadan.
Is it Ramadan? I think.
Ramadan,
Yeah.
yes, there it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I don't even think they
Yeah.
can do water during the day.
They can do water and prunes, I believe, if it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Which
during
I
the
think.
Native American, when I did the vision quest under Wallace, it was just water. That was it. And then there are some that don't even do water,
Mhm.
that they'll do 4 days without water.
That's hard to
That's
do.
very
I
hard
don't
to
think
do.
you can do that. I couldn't
Um,
do it. There's no way I would do that.
I couldn't do it either.
Not doing that.
But
Cindy's like,
there
couldn't
are-
be me.
well, there are other ways. I think if you don't have to go like on a full fast, you can go on like a meat fast, just no meat,
Mhm.
and
Oh.
just eat, like
I can do
well,
that.
you do that all the time. I mean,
You're
you
already doing
live
it.
like
It's
that. Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, she's vegan, so
She's been
Yeah.
fasting for
for
years.
years.
Fasting
Yeah.
all the time.
And with me, what I do is when I want to try and make a switch into like a higher vibration or a higher level, is I do fast. Like I'll just do like broths and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
I want cut back, and I really don't eat like red meat anymore. It's basically just fish and poultry.
When we go out, because we don't have it here.
Yeah,
There's no
So-
meat.
yeah. There's
Unless
no
it's
meat.
Thanksgiving and you.
Well, then I have turkey.
Right.
Yeah, but that's still a bird. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Cindy's cracking me up. Yeah, when you go out, because we don't have that shit here. 'Cause you ain't eating it. You ain't eating it in this house.
well,
No, he does.
I
He
still
brings it.
I still have my love of hot dogs,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh,
I
yeah,
still
you
eat
do.
a hot dog.
He
I
loves
forgot
it.
And I
about that.
love hot dogs. Absolutely love them.
Yes, he does.
So, I mean, that's my one weakness, I would guess you could say, is hot dogs.
It's your
Sometimes you have
kryptonite.
lunch meat, like turkey.
Well, I'll have
lunch
turkey
and
lunch
stuff
meat or
like that.
something like that. But like red meat and pork, I'm pretty much,
Yeah.
except for occasional hot dog. Okay.
Occasional hot dog. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Like every day he has a hot dog as occasional hot dog. Come on.
Cindy's
Yeah.
like, don't be
Well,
lying
for
to
me,
the
that's
people.
occasional. So
Okay.
Cindy's airing out all the dirty laundry.
She said, yeah, you're gonna hide that hot dog garment. I'm gonna pull it out and whip it out.
Oh.
That's so funny.
So do you guys have any advice to people that are starting to look into getting into spirituality and metaphysics and starting their own path?
Or
Yeah.
lost.
Well, I would say, find your own way, start, question everything.
Yes.
Just get in there and start, researching what you feel comfortable with, what you want to know. Like for me, I don't really research who did what and where and all that. I've always been more researching herbs and what they do, or that sort of thing, or somewhat crystals, but I don't dive deep unless I need to know it. You know what I mean? I don't.
Right.
Mhm.
So, but just find your way, find your own path, and don't let anyone else try to tell you, oh, you got to do it this way. You got to do it.
Right,
like that."
yeah.
So, that's all I would
If,
say.
if
Yeah.
you've got somebody telling you, no, you got to do it this way, run as
Yes.
fast as possible. Run from
Because
that
isn't that what
person.
you just left?
Yeah, that's what you're just
Somebody
getting
telling
out
you have
of,
to do it this
you
way.
know,
So just go.
what makes you happy? What literally makes you happy? And do you know what happiness is?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just being calm. Just take a walk outside, go sit under a tree, and just be.
Mm-hmm.
And just let stuff start opening itself up to you. I think to be open-minded is probably one of the best things you can do about different things. Don't be closed off. Don't close yourself off from different things, from different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably my best thing that I could say is just be open-minded, go searching, go looking for different things.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Just-
because there's that saying that what you're searching for is looking for
it's
you
looking
too.
for you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the questions in the Grail legends is how shall I find what I'm looking for? And the answer is that which you seek will guide you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
So what speaks to you, that's what you.
that's what you need
That's
to
what
check
you-
into. You know,
Right. Look
what
at it.
sits in your heart? What sits right here?
Yeah, that one was a tough one for me, I feel, because like I think as when I was younger, I do believe that a lot of the stuff that I was into wasn't necessarily like nurtured, or my natural intuition was not nurtured. In fact, it was probably, told like maybe they didn't know what I was talking about, or they were like, when you're a kid, you're kind of brushed off a little bit. And it took me a long time to trust my intuition like that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't like this because I'm being superficial. I like this because this is the path I'm supposed to be on.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Mhm.
Like I said, I got lucky. Man, my mother was given the vision all the time, and my grandmother was too. Everybody, especially the women on my mom's side of the family, they were like freaking natural witches.
Yeah, she's
Absolutely. Even though
his
they're
mother
beyond Christian.
still. Yeah.
And
Oh,
she
yeah,
still has visions and everything
Yeah.
else. So I was really lucky, because if I said, I just saw this, and it was like, well, oh, really? Okay, tell me more about it. We want to, especially dreams.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. I mean, that's how I learned how to interpret dreams by, I would tell her my dreams and she would interpret them. Like, this is what this means. This is the message that's coming through there.
Wow.
So I was lucky. I really was lucky in that respect.
Mhm.
My brother got a funny story. The first time he ever had a visitation, it was started to grow. It was like brrr, like this, and he told it to get the fuck out of his house. He couldn't deal with it. He went, "Get the fuck out of my house."
He's like,
And then
no,
left.
no.
He was like, "Nope, I don't want that." So
Mhm.
he couldn't deal with it. But me, it happened so often. It was like, it became second nature.
He just closed it off.
Oh,
There's-
Rodney,
that's
yeah, he
it.
just closed
I'm
it right
done.
off.
Yeah. Well, not everybody's ready,
Right, and exactly. And
Oh,
there are
yeah.
some people that don't want that. There are some people that would just rather probably get into the mundane aspects of it, of how to be a better person, like self-help, and how can I, be a better person, how can I help the planet? And that's great too.
That's
I mean, you
great
don't
too,
have
yeah.
to, yeah, you don't have to carry it to the extreme. There's some of us that are just extremists, and then I happen to be one of them. Yeah.
And they're all sitting
all-
here together on one
Yeah, we're all
podcast
in
right
good
now.
company. Yeah.
You're all head first people.
Yeah, don't let
Yeah.
Lucinda fool you. She's extremist too.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well, you're given to vision too. You see
Well,
vision, and
yeah, I do actually see things, but I'm
Mhm.
more in my mind's eye. I see it. I don't see it as something standing there. It's
Yeah.
just in my head. I see it. And
Yeah, that's how I see it.
yeah.
Hmm.
Cassie and I we see it more in the waking
3D.
world.
Physical.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Yeah,
physical
3D.
world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're much better at it than I ever was.
Oh, thank
No,
you.
you're really good. You see, especially when you started seeing all my allies, it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
They're showing themselves to you left and right. But
That was
the
really-
reason they said, yeah, they said the reason that they did that was for you to not doubt yourself.
Yeah.
That what you were seeing the real thing.
yeah, you
That's
guys,
why
that
they
was
did
really
that.
crazy. I remember like seeing one thing out in the yard and I was like, Rocky, there's a thing out there. Tell me you see it. And he was like, what does it look like? And I told him and he was like, no fucking way. He's like, that's one of my allies. And I was like, holy crap. Okay. That's
Yeah.
kind of scary,
Oh, is
but
this when you
cool.
were doing the brooms?
No, this was right before, I think it was like one of the ceremonies
Oh,
or
okay.
something like that.
I
Or
think it was before we took classes this last year too.
oh yeah, it
Oh,
was. Okay, yeah, when you guys
Mhm.
showed up. Okay.
Yep. I think it
Yeah.
was like, it must have been after
Hmm.
we took defense against the dark arts. That's
Yeah.
what I like to call it. And then before we started the new year, I think it was around Samhain or something like that, because it was
either
fallish
Samhain
out.
or Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
But I think it was warm, so.
I think so too. I can't remember, but it was a while ago.
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
but that you totally blew me away when you saw him.
Blew myself
Wow.
away.
Yeah.
I was like, I am. I can
It's-
do this.
I can
It's my
do this.
Sasquatch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
And she goes, "It's a Sasquatch." I went, "Yep, that's right.
That's funny.
That's the truth."
Yeah, that was wild.
Wow.
Yeah, I picked him up in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I forgot that you said that while you were on a
Yeah.
nature walk, right?
While he actually came in a dream. We went to see the Frank Lloyd Wright House
Oh,
in
yes.
Pennsylvania, and then we went to Gettysburg after that. And it was, I think it was right outside of Gettysburg. I had a dream, and he came to me in the dream, and he scared the living shit out of me. And I was like, I kept walking in the dream. It's like, okay, just, pretend you're not afraid. And you keep walking, and he kept going, hey, hey, I want to work with you. And I went, really? And he gave me the ceremony and everything to do to anchor. I told him, I said, I live in Michigan. You're here in Pennsylvania. How am I supposed to get you back home? And he gave me the whole ceremony of how to anchor him and bring him back. So in the dream, and I did that the next day, and he came home with me. He was like sitting in the back of the car. So it was a trip.
Yeah.
All that time he was back there.
He's like back there twiddling his thumbs, like, do.
Yeah, you're on the ride.
So yeah, he likes to hang out in the shop. That's probably one of his
Oh,
favorite
okay.
places. He
Yeah,
likes
I
it.
see him in the shop a lot or around it.
Yeah. I caught him in the garage once. He kind of freaked me out real quick because it's like, whoa.
What are you-
Yeah,
Yeah.
shocking.
Yeah. So
Well, are
Wow.
we satisfied?
I think we're satisfied.
I think we're feeling satisfied. Are
I'm feeling satisfied.
you guys satisfied?
I'm very satisfied. Yes.
The big question is, do you feel like heathens?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Of course.
I
Is
was
that
a
even a
heathen.
question?
Yeah.
I was a heathen before heathens were cool. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay, you guys, that is our episode on religion and spirituality, part 2. We will be seeing Rocky again in the future for DIY house cleansings part 2.
Yes.
Which we are super excited about that one because that one will happen around the time that he is teaching his
Maleficence.
Maleficence class.
Defense against
You know,
the
we gotta
mouth
make
of arts. Yeah.
yeah, malefic.
Malefic.
Malefic arts. Yeah.
Yeah,
Malefic
good point.
arts.
I'm glad
Malefic
I-
arts.
So-
So so much words in my mouth.
I know.
So if you guys are interested again in any classes with Rocky, or the nature walks with Lucinda, which is going to be so cool because I don't know, I can't look at a plant and really tell you what it is.
Mhm.
That's going to be really cool. But again, follow their Facebook page. It is Shadowbear and Arrow.
An arrow.
Mhm.
Unique gifts, curious goods, magical treasures.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Or you guys can reach out for us or to
Right.
us for us, huh?
Or look at Even Star Chalice's website.
Yes.
Because the classes will be on there too.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. And even Star Chalice has other classes that you guys could be really interested in too, like Reiki.
Like Nicole's.
Nicole's
Yes.
Like
Reiki
Nicole's
magic
class.
class.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a class.
She actually
Nicole
has it.
a class.
I do.
Rocky said something that actually leads us right into our next episode, you guys. And what I want you guys to think about before our next episode is like what Rocky had said. What is your happiness? Do you know what it feels like to sit in happiness? Do you know what makes you happy?
What does joy feel like?
Yeah, what does joy
Yeah,
feel like? How do we sit
exactly.
in that? How do
How do
we
we
enjoy
know?
that? How do we not let everything else ruin it? You
Mhm.
know?
Right.
Oh, and the big question is how do you not think that when is the other shoe gonna fall?
Exactly.
Oh,
Yes.
That's it.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's
So I
a
want
good
you guys to start really thinking about this. You got a week.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck, guys. Okay, well, I want to thank you
Good
guys
week.
so much for doing this with
Thank
us.
you.
Oh, this was
This
a
was
pleasure.
fun. It was
Our
fun.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Totally.
It was
We are
cool.
so proud of you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You helped us
You're welcome.
tremendously to get to this place. I just want you to know that. And I'm very honored and I'm very happy that you guys are in our lives.
Aw.
Well,
You guys,
We
these
feel
are
the same way.
yeah, for sure.
You guys are our Valkyries.
Yeah,
Yeah. We love
They're-
you guys a
we do
lot.
love you guys.
We love you
Yeah, we
guys
love
too.
you too.
Okay, well, we will see you guys in the next episode of Heathens for the Motherfucking People. Thank you for being
Heathens
here.
for the people.